We're doing live interviews all day here today. The Modern Dealership booth here at Auto Alerts, in the middle of Auto Alerts booth at NADA 2018. Look, I got to do a little bit of like catch up to see if I can watch the. There we are. We're live on my. It's a few seconds behind. Look at Rick. Rick Ricart, ladies and gentlemen.
Howdy.
Number one pre-owned franchise dealer in the universe.
We have national numbers.
Okay, we'll go USA.
If there's someone outside the USA that wants to contest it, I'm be happy to.
Yeah, it's amazing. But you're not only just pre-owned, man. You've got the other franchise. It's a big. Ricart's been. How long has the Ricart name been in automotive?
Since 1953. Grandfather bought a small Ford franchise in Winchester, Ohio.
Yeah.
Then my dad and uncle, who are just superstars in the industry, they took what was once the 3,000 something ranked Ford store, and by 1986, 87, they're right up there in the top 1-2 in the country.
Wow.
And held that strong, and really early 2000s, recession started to come and all those things hit, and the internet, they didn't embrace it correctly in the beginning.
Right.
And so since when the third generation started moving in, we embraced the internet, we did some things, and I also knew that it would be really hard to accomplish, to beat their biggest accomplishment, which was at one point in time they were the number one Ford dealer in the world, and just the way they did it is a little different. And Columbus, Ohio is not a big market; it's not LA.
Right.
Galpin's in LA; they're number one. Makes sense. Columbus, Ohio, much tougher market, much smaller market, but I knew we were missing something, and I knew I shouldn't probably say this on this show, but I'm not the biggest fan of new cars. I sell new cars, I love new cars, but to me they're more of a source of a trade-in, an opportunity for the service department, an opportunity for back end. There's all kinds of things, but anymore, and since I started really getting into the GM, GSM role in 2010, they dictate how we do business. And the only way to succeed in the new car world is to take the manufacturer's playbook that they not only hand you, but they update constantly and change and get you off target and you have to run that playbook better than everyone else. I like to run my own playbook, so when I had the chance to take over the used car factory, which does have the benefit of getting trade-ins from 6 new car brands, which is where we get about 400 units a month, and we source another 400 to 500, and through that we get to that 800 number that we've been consistently running for
every month,
a couple years now. But however, at the same token, beginning of last year, we printed off these little banners that say 1,000, and the goal was, let's get to 1,000 a month.
Shimmy.
But when we looked at the grand scheme of things, we looked at our service capacity, we looked at what additional advertising and infrastructure and what it would possibly do to our gross, we actually decided to pull back and say, you know what, that's not the answer anymore. We were in a growth stage. Right. Things started to plateau. It got a little more contested in our industry. It's a battle. I mean, dealers are battling it out for the customer, and now they're battling it out against all the information the customers doing research to still try to make a buck.
Isn't that crazy?
So yeah, so we actually, kind of tried to have sustainable growth. I don't want to just go after units. We cannot pay the bills just selling the car. You gotta make the money. So we've balanced, is what I'm trying to say.
No, I hear you.
We've kind of transitioned to a balance, and things are going really well.
Let's say there's a dealership out there, pre-owned dealership, that is not in your market. I want to make that perfectly clear. What's a few best practices that you would say these guys, they're struggling a bit, sales are not where they want them, maybe their team's not where they want them. What's a couple, just maybe 1 or 2 best practices that you would recommend to somebody who's trying to build a business like that?
Joey, I'm going to start with this. Even if they're in our market, we have great dealer friends in our market. There's some great family businesses in Columbus, Ohio. The Byers family, the Germain family, the Lindsay family, you name it. There's some great ones. And the used car market, no one ever talks about this number, but everyone talks about the SAR, the big 17 million. Here's how many new cars are being sold. And then you always hear, well, look out, there's all these cars coming off of lease soon. Oh no, there could be an additional 200,000 used cars coming off lease next month. There were 80 million used car transactions last year. It's a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
So where people think, you're fighting, franchise dealers aren't fighting with each other. We're fighting independents, we're fighting private parties, and we're fighting these disruptors that are coming to our industry wanting to do business a completely different way without ever having gone through what we've already experienced. Right. And a lot of them are now realizing it ain't as easy as launching a startup, just software website. There's too many moving pieces. But I'm going to go back to three biggest things that any used car manager has to do right: inventory, personnel, promotion. And inventory and promotion are one and the same now, because a used car bought right and recon quicked, merchandise right, all of those factors that go into putting it on the front line within 3 days is 80% sold. If you buy the right used car and you price it right, all you have to teach the personnel to do is how not to piss them off. You know, let the customer buy the car.
That's what I'm looking at. Best practice right there.
Don't piss off the customer. They're coming in there. They've been looking at cars on every third-party website. They're on Auto Trader. They're on Cars. They're on Car Gurus. They finally get to the dealer website, and that's where they make the buying decision.
Right.
They want to know on your website, is this the car for me, and is this the dealer I'm willing to buy it from? They've already said yes to both those questions if those feet are in your showroom. They know more about the car than your salesperson will. They've done their pricing research. They're going to ask for a discount. You have to know how to defend your price.
Right.
That's why I like the certified programs and things. And you let them buy the car. And by the way, if you do it with convenience and speed, they tell their friends and they come in too. Because 80% of the people that walk in the door say, hey, look, I don't want to be here all day.
Right.
I know what I want. Can I just get out? And for some reason, we're putting them in 3 different chairs for 2 hours. They just told you they're hot button.
Yeah.
Speed, convenience, and value.
It's
Let's
just
roll.
completely over.
I know,
It's like the third time I've heard speed come up in a conversation that I've been having with the dealer. Last time it was with a GM of a Mitsubishi dealership in Brooklyn, New York. I mean, it's just becoming that's more apparent. You got to get them in, got to get them out, and make them happy.
You know, when I was trained 15, don't want to date myself, 17 years ago.
Back when you were 12.
I was 21.
Okay.
When I actually got to be a sales consultant, and I had to go to training and learn how to sell, and our GSM takes me under his wing, and he taught me how there's gross in time. There's gross in time. Throw the keys on the roof. Don't let them leave.
Right.
You know, for every minute you do a walk around, there's $1,000 in asking price, not gross. But I mean, so if you got a $50,000 new Suburban, you have to do a 50-minute walk around. You know. And now it's the exact opposite. If you come in and they've seen your internet price, so don't be deceitful. That is the number one thing that consumers hate. They don't want to be deceived. So when they come in the showroom, like, yep, is this what you saw online? Yes, it is. Is this the price you saw? Yes, it is. Are these the options you want? Yes, it is. Is this the payment you're willing to pay? Yes, it is. Great, let's go. And they'll say yes, yes, and then when you get back in the finance office, since they know, oh, that process went faster,
right.
This is going to go faster, you can't price gouge. You have to have a pricing policy on everything you sell.
Your prices on the internet? Your prices on the web?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, 100% for everything that we sell, because that helps it go faster.
Why would dealers put their prices on the web? Well, I mean, I understand why, but why is that just an old school tactic of just get them to call, get them to show up, get them to show up, get them to show up? Or?
I have a feeling at this show right now, if we could poll, I still think that the majority of the dealers in this room want to or are leaving one thing off their VDP pages. It's something different with all of them. Some of them don't want a price. Some of them just leave MSRP or NADA retail price. Some of them don't put the miles. Some of them don't put a picture, a real picture. They just stock photo. They try to leave something out because, the customer is going to have to call us. They're going to have to send us a lead. Nuh-uh. They're not going to engage you unless you put an overload of accurate information with everything about the car, the history of the car, every little, and about the dealership.
Right.
And why buy from you.
I'm going to reiterate this. I'm going to look directly in the camera. I'm going to reiterate this. This guy runs the #1 pre-owned dealership in the country, franchise deal in the country, and he puts his prices for his vehicles on his website, and he's still kicking your ass. I'm just saying. I see so many dealers that won't put it up there because you want the phone call, you want people to show up for the... He's kicking your ass, and he's doing it the way you're not doing it. Sorry, I decided to say it's one thing that bothers me.
You know, and like I said, though, I don't want to compete with the other franchise and the good families. I'm set out. In fact, what fired me up was the first kind of fire under my ass was when CarMax first came to town. And I set it out to when they put those 2 locations, I'm going to close one of them down. You know.
Yeah.
And little did I know, they don't care what we do. They don't go after the volume like we do. So they haven't affected us. In fact, we sold more because CarMax started advertising. Don't be afraid of that. You know, that's one of the reasons that I can't find one dealer who had a great January. Okay, January sucked. start the year with a hangover. I mean, not a physical hangover, but a lot.
Metaphorically, I get it.
Because you got all the urgency last week of the year, last week of the month, tax savings, get in here and buy. All the manufacturers, big money advertising. And then the first 2 weeks of January, they go dark.
I call it the day after Valentine's Day at the restaurants.
Exactly.
It's exactly the
same
thing.
And it happens every year, and every month starts that way. One of the things, and I'll kind of throw this out there, I haven't ever shared this bullet with everyone. I never stop. I never go dark. We never, especially with used cars. You're not waiting on incentives. You're not waiting on the manufacturer to change a rule or find out what their theme of the month is going to be, which is going to be wrong anyways. Do your own theme. Don't just follow whatever your tier 2's doing with the same tier 3. You got to make things unique, make it different, and make your own. But when it comes to our video advertising, and that's what I call it now. It used to be called television. We call it video advertising, because the marketing mix between TV and Facebook and YouTube and all the other places that we're putting video
everywhere
is where. What are we doing now? We're live on a social media channel. It's all about video. It's all about video. So, and for the used car factory, we don't stop. We don't take the first week and we're just not going to put an ad on the air. We keep our message out there consistent. We choose not to participate in the peaks and valleys and being reactionary like the manufacturers are.
Yeah, consistent branding. Hey, Mike DeLay, I just had him on here, did a live video, and I'm going to wrap it up with you too, because I know you're busy too.
Are you
That's the first one in 10 years, man.
Man, he's fired up. He's working on some cool stuff.
He just talked about a full integration with AutoAlert, with third-party other vendors out there that are providing. We just talked about dealer teamwork, Sean Stapleton's company, and we even kind of dropped a little hint about Conversico, which I'm going to be talking to Dave Murad, EVP of sales for them about this. But I'm now going to ask every single dealer that comes up here, what is a company that's out there? What is a product that is out there right now that you would like to see? I don't mean to put you on the...
No.
What would you like to see integrate with what you're doing with AutoAlert, you know?
This is going to sound really exciting, and I hope, well, it's going to be live. I'm going to say it right now. AutoFi. So I got in with AutoFi a little over a year and a half ago. You want to hear a great story real quick? So AutoFi is an online transaction tool. It is live on our website today. It's live on the used car website.
Okay.
You go to ricartused.com. It says start online checkout. You fill out the credit app. It submits it to a bank, gets the call back, the approval, shows the customer the interest rate. They pick their down payment and term. They accept it.
Yeah.
They DocuSign the paperwork. They walk in the used car factory. We hand them their keys. They drive away. We're doing that. You know what AutoAlert is. It is a powerful. It's not just a. I'm trying to use it without being too graphic. It's not a sniper anymore. It's close range. I mean, you can't
blank.
miss the targets. And I'm excited for this because I feel like the last step that we have once we get an AutoAlert notification to a consumer, it's the right consumer, it's the right car. There's even extra incentive. There's all kinds. The Ford Alert. There's all kinds of things. They at that point have to engage the dealership. Somebody's going to call them from the dealership, or they need to call, or they need to send a lead, or they need to walk in. We're going to put AutoFi right there. We're going to put express checkout. So the next step for the consumer is to start the checkout process. Start making sure, and if the data is already in AutoAlert and knows who you are, where you live, your address, everything, it'll pre-populate all those fields. That person will literally, in less than 60 seconds, buy a car. If AutoAlert does what it's supposed to do, and it does, it's going to be
I got to tell anybody,
game-changing.
AutoFi is watching this. Anybody from AutoFi is watching this. You just got called out in a great way. So get your biz dev team to get in with my biz dev team, and Ricart's asking for it.
And those guys are a startup in the truest sense of the world, in that they love hearing these ideas.
Great.
When I first started working with them, and I told them, I said, this is a very consumer-friendly product. Let's make it consumer, dealer, bank, OEM, compliance, legal friendly. They say, okay, tell us what that looks like to you. And they listen. You hear them listening. You can hear their brain turn on the phone, and they do the things. They actually customize and change it, so it's really cool.
We're watching up. It's just look at it. We got a little tight on you. We got tight on me. It's nice work by Mark back there. This is live. Guys, this is Rick Ricart. I'm telling you what, got to connect with this guy. We ran out of time, but next time I have you on, we're going to talk about some of your loves and your passions. I just talked to Mike, and yours is, you know what, I got a few seconds here. What's better smoked, your brisket in Columbus or Kansas City brisket?
So if I'm smoking it,
I got you.
I'm taking Kansas City techniques, but I do have the mail order catalog from Jack Stack.
Oh, you do?
And if you've never had the Kobe beef burnt ends, they deliver them to your door in 1 pound packs.
Jack Stack does that?
Yes.
Oh.
They wake me up in the middle of the night. I've been, trying to do the protein diet and the paleo style for years. So whenever I find good grass-fed beef to smoke, and especially if I can get on my Harley and go adventure out and find a great barbecue place, that's the best way for me to unwind on a Sunday.
Can I just tell you, I live in downtown Kansas City. You've been to Kansas City a few times. I live in downtown Kansas City. I have a streetcar that I get on. It's a block from my house. It goes straight down to Jack Stack's. It's a block from Jack Stack's. I mean, it's right there. It's just... Anyway, we got our next guest coming up here in just a little bit. Well, hopefully he is showered and brushed his teeth and smells good and is ready to roll. Dave and Rod coming up next. This is Rick Ricart. Connect with him online. Great stuff. This is amazing stuff. Have a great day. We'll see you coming up in just a little bit with Dave Big Cat Murad. Woo!